The lecture hall of the Galactic Defense Academy fell silent as Instructor Velthor dimmed the lights. Rows of cadets from a dozen species shifted in their seats, their various appendages rustling with anticipation. This was the class they had all been waiting for. Military History 301, featuring humanity's recent admission into the Galactic Coalition. Today, Velthor announced, his four eyes scanning the audience, we study humanity, a species that achieved faster than light travel only 40 cycles ago, yet has already been granted full military partnership status. A Krillian cadet in the third row chittered skeptically. Her species had taken 3,000 cycles to earn such recognition. The other students shared her disbelief. Velthor pressed a control and the holographic display flickered to life. What you are about to witness is unedited footage from human conflicts. Observe carefully. The first segment showed grainy footage from something humans called World War II. The cadets watched as primitive aircraft, no shields, no energy weapons, engaged in combat. Then came the ground warfare, humans in crude armor charging through explosive fire, bodies falling, medics dragging wounded soldiers while under attack themselves. A Felixian cadet's translator picked up the words of a human soldier. We don't leave anyone behind. The statement confused half the room. Tactically, retrieving fallen soldiers made no sense, yet the humans did it repeatedly, often at great cost. The footage continued. Korea, Vietnam, the Gulf, Afghanistan. Conflicts that spanned their entire planet, again and again. The cadets saw humans fighting in frozen mountains, scorching deserts, dense jungles and urban ruins. No terrain stopped them. No environment deterred them. Then Velthor showed them something that made even his own blood run cold. Though he had seen it many times before, footage from humanity's siege of Leningrad. Over 800 Earth days, human civilians were surrounded, starved, and bombarded. Rations dropped to mere grams of bread. The cadets watched humans eating wallpaper paste to survive. They saw citizens collapse from hunger in the streets. By all military doctrine, Velthor explained, the city should have surrendered within 50 days. Food reserves were depleted. Ammunition was scarce. The logical choice was obvious, he paused. They held for 872 days. Over 1 million humans died. They never surrendered. A Thraxian cadet stood abruptly, his scales pale. Permission to leave, instructor? Denied. Sit down, Cadet Zarkoth. You will need to understand this if you are to serve alongside humans in the Coalition fleet. The footage shifted to more recent conflicts. Now the cadets saw humans employing modern tactics, small unit operations, precision strikes, but also something else. Humans deliberately entering kill zones to extract wounded comrades. Soldiers throwing themselves on explosives to save others. Pilots staying with doomed aircraft to steer them away from populated areas. They're defective, a Vorzian cadet whispered. Their survival instinct is broken. Velthor heard the comment. No, Cadet Lixara, that is where you are wrong. Their survival instinct is perfectly intact. They simply value something more than individual survival. The instructor changed the footage again. This time it showed captured human soldiers in detention, facilities, torture, interrogation, starvation. The galactic students watched in growing horror as humans endured conditions that would break any of their species within hours. Some humans held out for years, revealing nothing. During their Vietnam War, Velthor continued, a human named James Stockdale spent 7 years in captivity, tortured 15 times, leg broken twice. He kept organizing resistance and maintaining morale. When asked later how he survived, he said, I never lost faith in the end of the story. The footage concluded with recent recordings, human soldiers in the frontier wars, the brief conflict that led to humanity's first contact with the Coalition. The cadets saw humans facing plasma weapons with kinetic rifles, outdated, outgunned, and outmatched. Yet the human forces had fought the Coalition raiders to a standstill, inflicting casualties that shocked the Galactic Command. One clip showed a human commander, wounded and surrounded, laughing as he charged enemy positions. His final words were captured clearly. You picked the wrong species to fight. When the lights came back on, the lecture hall was chaos. 12 cadets were already at the door, submitting resignation papers through their neural links. Others sat in stunned silence, questioning everything they thought they knew about warfare. A brave Jatari cadet raised a tentacle. Instructor, I don't understand. Why do they fight this way? Don't they fear death? Velthor's expression was grave. They fear death exactly as much as you do, Cadet. Perhaps more because they understand how precious life is. But they have a saying. There are things worse than death. They believe in causes greater than themselves. They will die for ideas, for each other, for people they've never met. He pulled up a final image, a human memorial wall covered with thousands upon thousands of names. This is from their Vietnam Veterans Memorial, 58,000 names. These humans know exactly what war costs. They count every loss. They remember every name. And yet, when called upon, they fight anyway. The Krillian cadet from earlier spoke, her voice trembling. How are we supposed to fight alongside such creatures? They're insane. No, Velthor corrected firmly. They're human. And as of 40 cycles ago, they're our allies, which means the enemy needs to fear them, not you. He surveyed his remaining students. Those of you who stay will learn to work with humanity's military. Those who left have made their choice. But understand this. In 3,000 cycles of galactic history, no species has ever been granted full military partnership in less than 40 cycles of first contact. He let that sink in before continuing. The Galactic Council isn't sentimental. They granted humanity this status because when the Zekthar invasion hit the Outer Rim last cycle, it was human forces, still using primitive railguns and chemical propulsion, that held the line while our fleets regrouped. They didn't have to. They'd been in space for barely 2 cycles. But a human admiral told the council, "You helped us reach the stars. Now we help you keep them." Velthor looked at each remaining cadet. Humanity doesn't have the strongest shields or the fastest ships, but they have something we've forgotten over millennia of civilized warfare. The absolute terrifying conviction that some things are worth dying for. And that makes them the most dangerous ally and the most fearsome enemy in the galaxy. The lecture hall remained quiet as the cadets absorbed this truth. Half the class had resigned in terror. The other half sat straighter in their seats, understanding that they were witnessing something unprecedented. A species that treated war not as a calculation, but as a crucible, and emerged from it stronger every single time. In the back row, a human exchange officer watched the proceedings with a quiet smile. Ambassador Chen had volunteered to observe the class, to see how the coalition taught its students about her people. As the cadets filed out, many of them glancing nervously in her direction, Chen stood and approached the instructor. "You did well, Velthor," she said, "though you could have shown them the footage from the Mars Rebellion. That really demonstrates human stubbornness." Velthor's 4 eyes widened in alarm. "Ambassador, I showed them your species' history across 400 cycles of warfare." Half the class resigned. "If I'd shown them Mars..." He trailed off, shuddering. Chen laughed, a sound that made several lingering cadets flinch. "Fair point. Baby steps, then. Though they'll need to learn eventually. The universe is a dangerous place, and humanity didn't claw its way to the stars just to play it safe." As she left the lecture hall, Chen passed the memorial board where resignation notices were being posted. 12 cadets had withdrawn from military service entirely. Another 8 had requested transfers to non-combat positions. She understood their fear. Humanity had learned to wage war in the cruelest classroom imaginable, against themselves on their own homeworld for thousands of years. They had refined it, perfected it, and emerged scarred but unbroken. Now those skills served a greater purpose. Protection of the innocent, defense of the weak, preservation of the coalition. But Chen also understood something the cadets didn't, something that would have terrified them even more. The footage they'd watched today was from humanity's past, when they fought with primitive weapons and limited technology. Now humanity had plasma weapons, force fields, faster than light ships. Now, humanity had the tools to match their will. The galaxy, Chen reflected, was about to learn what that really meant, and she almost felt sorry for whatever poor species decided to test them first.